All right. Well, welcome, 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 everybody. I'm so happy to have you with me today. Um, Today is probably one of my favorite conversations. It's all about, well, it's actually my favorite combination of conversations, confidence and cash flow. And I'm so happy to have you with me. This is the very first time that I'm doing this kind of a hypnovisualization for this community. And so, for all of you guys in Command Your Worth, I'm so happy to have you. And I want to welcome you all. And today's going to be a rather, it's not going to be a webinar. It's not going to be a training session. It's going to be a little bit of, it's going to be a mixture of things. And I do want to give you a little context. So just before we dive in, I want to make sure that do a little housekeeping. I'm going to be turning off I will be popping on video later. And because I'm going to be recording this and using this recording in other locations, I'm not going to have everybody's face be visible and all of that. So I'm just going to use this as a recording. But for now, I just wanted to let you know that I'm going to be taking questions at the end and comments, but you have the chat feature available to you. So feel free to use that. Okay. So we're recording now. And I want to welcome you all again to a very powerful conversation. And so I want to give you a little context. First of all, for some of you, you know who I am. For some of you, you don't know me at all. And so I want to introduce myself and tell you a little bit about who I am. So it's going to take a little bit for me to get the slides moving along. Here we go. Okay, so my name is Nancy Fox, and my company is the Business Fox. It's a little play on my last name, and it sort of happened by accident, I'm happy to say. And it's really exciting because I had an opportunity to do a little play on my last name and to really feature some of the things that I care most about in my career. And that it really is about helping people, especially women over the age of 40, to help them be confident, successful, and really prosperous in their businesses. And I love business. I've always loved business. So a little of my background. I am a former executive, and the slides are not moving as fast as I want them to. Okay, there we go. I'm a former VP and a senior executive in the women's underwear business. I know it's a very unusual industry, but that's where I had my first couple of decades in my career, and it was a lot of fun. I was in charge of product development and design and marketing, and I had a fantastic experience with it. I loved it, loved it, loved it. And then it was time for me to really move on and to just really, I saw that the handwriting was on the wall. I was changing, the industry was changing, and I knew it was time. And I got, my background actually was in psychology. So I got to use that my love of psychology and people in my business and in my career, but then it was time to move on. And since then, I started, I actually created a coaching and training business. Well, these slides are not moving. They're not moving along. They're not cooperating here. Let's see if we can do it this way. There we go. Okay, there we go. So I became an entrepreneur in 1999, and I started as an executive and business coach and trainer, and I was working with all kinds of industries and companies, all of them. None of them had anything to do with women's underwear. It was a really fascinating transition. I ultimately became a keynote speaker, an acclaimed author on business networking. And these days, I just love working with peak performance as a success coach for women who are motivated high achievers. And since then, I've mentored and trained many hundreds of high performers, executives, entrepreneurs, professionals in advancing their careers and success in business. Sorry, you guys. And since then, I also use, these days, I've really embarked on a very fascinating road. And I've started to use a methodology that I would call it a rapid transformation technique. It's grounded in neuroscience. And that means I'm really working with the science of the mind at the subconscious level and helping hundreds of people break through their limiting mindset and success blocks. So today I want to start off by giving you a little context about how I'm going to be leading you through this hypnovisualization session. First of all, today is all about believing in yourself. Now, that sounds easier. I mean, it's easier said than done, right? We have to really learn how to trust ourselves. And we have to learn how to do that more than we trust what others think and what others say. And that is a very, very challenging thing, especially when we have so many people around us who we value, and we value people's input. But at what point do we begin trusting them more than we believe on ourselves? For the most part, we wind up being extremely impressionable by what others have to say and think about what we're up to, what we're doing, and how we do it. But your mind has been conditioned not to trust your own ideas and to really believe more in what other people say. Consciously, that's not true. Consciously, we say, oh, no, no, I really believe in myself. But unconsciously, when there are fears and worries and doubts, you can bet your bottom dollar that it's your subconscious mind that's been conditioned to have doubt about your own ideas and your own beliefs, and really to listen to other people, unfortunately. Studies have actually shown that 95% of your thoughts are directed by the unconscious mind, and only 5% from the conscious logical mind. But what's crazy about this is that more often than not, we are really spending most of our time on the 5% of our minds, 5% of our minds, the conscious part of our minds. And that's not really where our belief systems are centered. They're centered in our subconscious mind, but we never really learn how to tap into the subconscious mind. We never really learn how to really gain mastery over it. So we're sort of stuck, and we work all on the learning, the logical, the analytical parts of our minds, but we don't really pay much attention or learn how to gain mastery over what's really driving our beliefs and our fears, and that's the subconscious part of the mind. So what do we do about that? Well, when you're going for your financial goals, you have all these subconscious limiting beliefs battling with your conscious logical mind. But the problem is that your subconscious thoughts are always going to win. No matter how much learning you do, no matter how much strategy you put into practice, your subconscious thoughts are always going to win unless you learn how to gain mastery over it, unless you learn how to tap into it. And that's what today is all about. And the reason for this is your subconscious mind is wired to always seek the familiar. The way it is designed, your subconscious mind, which is directing all of your emotional states, is always seeking what's familiar and what it already knows. That's why it's so difficult to change. So many times I say to people, do you like to change? Are you open to change? They go, oh, yes, I love change. And then they get stuck in the action place. And that's always the tip off, that the subconscious mind is directing the ship. It's always seeking the familiar. The reason for it is it doesn't really want to step outside of the box. It doesn't want to be, it always wants to protect. It has one job, and that's to keep you in survival mode. It's not there to help you thrive and advance and grow. It's there to keep you sort of in the safe mode, and it wants to keep you in your comfort zone. And that's not where transformation, that's not where expansion, that's not where growth lives. Growth lives in the uncomfort zone, in the discomfort zone. But your subconscious mind always wants to seek the familiar. And the other reason is if you can imagine in your mind, in your brain, every single thought is a thing, and the thought is actually, each thought, every single thought is a neural connection. It are neural endings that are connecting, and they are firing. They're actually like electrical connections. That's why our thoughts are actually things. But when they fire together, they will continue to wire together in exactly the same way, on and on and on. And that is why changing your thinking is so challenging, because once they fire together and they wire together and they keep wiring together, they're sort of embedded in your mind and very difficult to break free and break apart. And that takes a very, very specific kind of education on how to break those thoughts apart, how to prune the old thinking that's not working for you, and how to create new thoughts and have those thoughts wire together in a favorable way. It's your inner subconscious beliefs, your, so have you see your worth and it really equals what you believe about yourself and about money. And when these thoughts are constantly firing together and wiring together, and when your subconscious mind is always seeking the familiar, it's really, really challenging to have new confident beliefs, new expansive ideas and beliefs, and new actions out of, when you have a mind that's wired in the old stuck way, right? Now, hypnovisualization is not meditation, and it's not. It's a blend. It's a way of actually using your subconscious mind to tap into the deepest recesses of your subconscious mind and help you root out the self-doubt. Because if you don't do it at the root, if you just do it at the surface level, and the surface level would look something like when you read affirmations, or when you say affirmations out loud, you're still doing it from a conscious place. It's using your logical mind. Or when you're reading quotes that really inspire you, or when you read an article and go, yes, that's me. It's excellent. It really helps. It's a positive way of thinking, but it's not at the root of your mind. It's not in the subconscious recesses of your mind, which is where self-doubt really lives. You have to rewire with new confident beliefs, with new wealth beliefs, with new money beliefs. And you have to do this. In order to do this, you have to create new confident self-trust, new self-beliefs, and make that familiar at the subconscious level of the mind. And that's what we're going to be working on today. So what is hypnovisualization? Hypnovisualization, I actually got involved with this because I started doing a lot of studying about sports psychology. And I was intrigued by it because I knew that athletes are constantly confronted by both winning and losing, both. And it was just fascinating to me that if they could really wrap their minds around losing and come back and win again, how were they doing that? So I started to do a lot of studying about sports psychology and neuroscience, and how athletes were using neuroscience to really alter their mind states, and how they were doing it so that they were in a winning mind frame. So visualization, they found that visualization is almost as good as physical action. And so hypnovisualization is actually bringing your mind to a deeper state, a different brainwave state. Usually, we're in alpha states. We're going to go into deeper levels of brain waves. We're going to go into a REM state. I want you to know that as you're in visualization, you're going to be in total control. You're not asleep. You're conscious, but your conscious mind is going to be in the recesses. We're going to have it it's going to recede, allowing your subconscious mind to be accessed. You're not going to feel hypnotized. You're just going to be totally relaxed and open and receptive to suggestion. And when you're open and receptive to suggestion, that's when you can eradicate the old thinking and you can start to implant the new thinking and the new beliefs. That's what we're going to be doing in a hypnovisualization for you today. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to start bringing you into the hypnovisualization portion of today. So what I want you to do is, first of all, I want to ask you a question. Because we're now going to go specifically about money and about confidence, and we're going to start to really dive in a little more deeply. So I want to ask you a question first. And you can put your answers in the chat box if you're of a mind to do that, and that's great. I want to ask you, and some of you already know the answer to this. What is the number one thing that people worry about? They just worry and fret about this, and they think about it a lot. What's the number one thing that people think about and what they worry about? What do you imagine? You can type it in the chat box. That's right. They worry about money. And as soon as I say that word to you, don't you feel an emotional feeling in your body? Don't you even just get a physical reaction to it? Of course you do. Money is one of the most emotional the whole topic of money. And as soon as you think about money, it's one of the most emotional issues that people ever deal with in their lives. And money comes up so often, especially at different times of the day for many of you, as Dawn's saying. So as soon as I say that word, you have an emotional reaction, and maybe you even have a physical reaction. Sometimes people feel it on their shoulders, in their back, they feel it in their stomach, and sometimes they feel it in their chest at different places. But you just stay conscious that as soon as I say the word money, there's an immediate reaction, emotional and sometimes even physical. And it's really not surprising. Okay, next question. And you probably know the answer to this too. What's the biggest issue that most couples fight about? All over the world, it's like a universal thing. And it doesn't matter whether people at different status levels, it doesn't matter. In different ages, it doesn't matter. That's right, they fight about money. It's the biggest topic of fights for couples. So would it be there any surprise to you at all that if this is what's happening, because even if people at all financial levels, at every single level, middle class, upper class, billionaires, millionaires, if this is the issue that couples fight about the most, think about this. Imagine, wouldn't it be the thing that you would probably have learned earliest on in your life? Because after all, if every couple is fighting about money, wouldn't you think you would have heard something from your parents or other significant people around you saying things like, we can't find the money. I don't know where we're going to get the money. I'm afraid we're going to lose the money. Money doesn't grow on trees. You're wasting money. We can't afford that. You're spending too much. Don't be a slave to money. Money can't buy you love. If you think about it, you've got to have heard something, especially early in your life, somewhere in your life, you learned something about money. And the reason because after all, you didn't come out of the womb having a direct relationship about money. You came out of the womb with no relationship to money, because in the womb, everything was taken care of for you. It was perfect in there. It was warm. It was safe. You were fed anytime you needed to be fed. You were fed. You didn't have to worry about anything. You were perfectly 100% comfortable 100% of the time. Every single one of your needs were met. And babies are born with a belief that says, hey, I can have anything I want, because that's what you know as a baby. That's what you know. Every time you cry, people come running to you and giving you something. You realize that if anytime you need to be entertained and you start fretting and pouting and fussing, people come running to you, and you learn if you want something, all you got to do is create an action and people are going to start doing things for you, right? But here's the thing. This is what happens for children. Everything they want, it just sort of happens for them. They don't have to think about it. But somewhere along the line, at some point as a child, you began to learn something new. And everything that you learned about money, you learned everything up until the age of 5 or 6 or 7, and at the max 8. And you learned to have a relationship with money. You didn't have it when you were born. It was acquired, it was learned, and then it became embedded in you. And that is how every single one of us develops a relationship with money. And I learned this personally because up until the age of 8, up until 8, I didn't really have any fear about money or worry about it. I didn't even think too much about it, until my parents moved us to a very posh neighborhood. And we didn't have money, but everybody else around us did. And all the girls that I went to school with had beautiful designer clothes. And I had clothes that my mother had made for me. They were handmade clothes. And it was so humiliating. It was mortifying. And from then on, all my beliefs about having money and getting money and finding money, they were launched from money is not available to me. It's available to all those other girls, all those other kids, but it's not available to me. And that's how I went through the rest of my early part of my adult life until I learned how to change that completely. Now, how many of you know exactly what I mean by that, right? I mean, you know that this is really how this is how we learn about money from other people. We learn our relationships. We are taught this. and you know that, you're a smart kid. You know that you know that you're going to be able to do things. But the thing is, here's the thing: in your mind, you are learning all about money, and everything that you have learned about money, everything that you heard from your parents, from significant others, and from other kids as well, they became a blueprint. Your subconscious mind absorbed all of that, because your mind is brilliant, and it has it's programmed accordingly, and it learns this, and it became a blueprint for the rest of your life. And it required you to act according to that blueprint for the rest of your life, from when it was formed very, very early in your life. And you became when you have that blueprint imprinted in your mind, every action, every thought, every behavior, every decision was you moving towards fulfilling on that blueprint. Even though it's not something that you personally created by choice, it's what was created for you, and your subconscious mind embedded it. Because one of the rules of the mind is that your body and your mind act in a way that matches completely up to your thinking. And you act in a way that is utterly consistent with how you define yourself. And so when you say things like, I don't know where the money is going to come from, I don't like to ask for money, I'm a heart-centered spiritual person, and they shouldn't be asking for money. They should do things for free. Good people don't focus on money. Yes, of course, you've learned, of course, from your grandfather, of course. And money slips through my fingers. I can never keep money. I had a friend once who early on like she was 19 by the time she became a millionaire. And by the time she was 22, she had lost all of it. And then she earned it all back again. And then she got engaged to a man, and she gave him power of attorney when she had to take a long trip, and he stole all the money for her. She had this blueprint that money slips through her fingers. It's like water slipping through her fingers. That's what her mother had told her. But look at lottery winners. Like, the statistics are something like up to 75% of them lose all of their winnings. They go bankrupt, and they revert to their old level of money. And I call this your money set point. So I want you to think just for a minute of some of the thoughts. And I know every single one of us have had thoughts about money, and we've heard them from other people. So if you're really brave, just sort of chat them out. Your grandpa was the most frugal man alive. And so you learned something about frugality, right? And my parents were like, money doesn't grow on trees, and we can't afford it. Money doesn't grow on trees, and your eyes are bigger than your stomach, and all things like you want. Basically, I was taught you just want too much. And so I really learned to really teach myself not to want as much. But here's the thing: we all gain these messages, we all learn them. And how many people I'm sure I'm not alone. How many of you heard, we can't afford that, or money doesn't grow on trees, right? Do you think I'm made of money? No, right? That's not us, or that's not for us, that's for other people. And, the thing is that when you learn these things as a kid, that it becomes constantly repeated and repeated. And even if you don't hear those words outside of yourself anymore, your subconscious mind is looking for evidence of holding that belief system in place. And every time you try to step outside of the box of that old thinking, you get other messages like, who do you think you are? That starts to tap into your confidence level, right? And it starts to set up a new set of beliefs that when you want too much, you're not worthy. And it starts to now you start to have a combination of beliefs. And that is why I say to you that your confidence and your ability to generate cash flow so often go hand in hand. And so the truth is that the world-renowned neuroscientists have found that the subconscious mind loves what is familiar, and your primitive brain loves the repetition of it, the familiarity of it. It likes the constancy of it. And it's almost like it keeps recreating what is familiar. Even when you try to step out beyond it, it is going to keep pulling you back. Not intentionally, because remember, your subconscious mind, you're not even present to it. The only part of the mind that you're really focused on is your logical mind, your conscious mind. That is where you really focus your thinking. But it's your subconscious mind that is keeping all of these belief systems around you and your confidence and money in place. And here's another fact. If you made these thoughts familiar, these belief systems familiar, if your subconscious mind made all of this familiar, guess what? You can make other thoughts familiar too, if you learned how to teach your subconscious mind who's boss, and if you learn how to tap into your subconscious mind. So if you made a scarcity mindset familiar, like I can't afford that, or I have to play it safe, or every time I step out, every time I take a risk, I fail. If all of those are your thoughts, then you can make a completely new set of thoughts very familiar to your mind and have your subconscious mind embrace it, embed it, and repeat it back to you on a regular basis. And we're going to do that right now. So we're going to go into a different state of mind. That's how we're going to tap into your subconscious mind. In fact, the better place to do this is we're going to go into a state of REM. And so now what I want you to do is I want you to close your eyes. In fact, open your eyes. We're going to do a little practice. Open your eyes. And I want you to just practice. I want you to take your eyeballs and I want you to roll them all the way up as if you're looking into your eyebrows or maybe a spot on the ceiling. And just keep your eyeballs up, up, up. And you might even be feeling a little fluttering in your eyelids as they want to blink and blink and blink. And that's actually that's a great indication, because if they're fluttering, if they want to blink, that is actually a form of hypnosis coming upon you. That's you going into a different brainwave state. That's a state of REM. That's really great. Okay, good. So now you can just bring your eyeballs back down. That was a little practice session. And I want you now to take your eyeballs all the way up again and just keep them up there. Keep them up and take a big, deep breath in. Look up, keep your eyeballs up, keep your eyeballs up, and breathe in and breathe out. And take another big, deep breath in and breathe out. And one more time, keeping your eyeballs all the way up, breathe in. And now, as you breathe out, allow your eyelids just to lower. You can let them go, let them close. You can let them close, and you don't have to worry about your eyeballs at all anymore. And you're just going to feel like your eyelids are so droopy and drowsy and lazy. And you're going to feel like they're really like sealed shut, locked tight. And you can't really open them even though you want to. And just keep breathing. Keep breathing. And now you can just forget all about your eyelids or your eyeballs, and all the muscles around your eyelids are very relaxed and very loose. And I want you to just take your chin and just tilt it down just a bit, as if you're looking over a balcony or down a wonderful flight of stairs. And you're going to feel that wonderful feeling as if you're just looking down this flight of stairs, and now you're looking down 10 steps. And you have that looking down sensation. And now you're moving on to step 10 and step 9. And you can see your feet, you can feel your feet, and you can hear your feet as it connects with each and every step as you go deeper. And as you go deeper, you're taking step 8 and step 7 as you sink deeper and you go deeper, and you have a wonderful floating sensation, bringing you deeper and deeper into a deeper state of awareness. And you're taking step 6, going deeper, sinking deeper, floating deeper as you go to step 5, into a wonderful state of awareness of yourself. And with every breath you take, you can see your feet, you can feel your feet, and you can hear your feet, and you're taking step 4. And every noise and every sound around you is just flowing right through you, relaxing you more and more as you take step 3 and 2. And now you're taking step 1, and you can just go deeper and deeper and deeper. And with every click of my fingers, you're going into a deeper state of self-awareness of yourself, going deep into your memory bank and deeper yet. And you're going into this very, very powerful, deep memory bank. You're about to go deeper to find out how and where and why and absolutely when your self-confidence and your beliefs about money became connected and distorted. And as you take step one, it's like you've stepped back into a time tunnel and you're being pulled back, drawn back, taken back, and you're being pulled and moved back. Years and months and weeks and days are peeling away from your body, and you're becoming younger and smaller and lighter and even shorter. And you're going back and back and back and even further back, all the way back. Your brilliant subconscious mind is taking you right back to a crucial, significant scene that's all to do with how and why and where and when you picked up some very discordant feelings and beliefs about money. And on the count of 5, you're going there right now. On the count of 4, you're becoming younger, smaller, lighter, shorter. On the count of 3, years, months, weeks, days are peeling away from your body as you go back and further and further. On the count of 2 and 1, and you are there. You are right there. Just go there. Just be there. Just stay there. And as I count to 3, your ears are wide open. On the count of 3, you're going to hear something or see something right in front of you, over you, around you, and to you that is all to do about money. On the count of 1, 2, 3, your ears are open and you can hear something or somebody. Something is being said. You are hearing something about money, and I want you to hear exactly what you heard then. I want you to feel exactly what you felt then. What are you seeing? What are you hearing? And most importantly, what are you feeling? What are you experiencing? And you can hear it and see it like it is yesterday. And first of all, you're hearing it and seeing it and experiencing it with the mind of your child, a younger version of you. And you've been on the planet maybe 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or at the most 8 years. And so you have to make sense of what's going on around you, because with this lifespan, you haven't seen a lot or done a lot or heard a lot. So stay in that scene and just remember it, because we're going to go back and do this again and again. And so you're going to want to put these things together. So again, on the count of 5, you're going to go back to another vivid, vital, crucial, absolutely crucial scene, significant scene that has shaped your mind and your beliefs and your feelings about you and belief in yourself and money. And you're becoming smaller and lighter and shorter and smaller. And the years and the months and the weeks and the days are just peeling back away from your body. You're drifting right back. Just be there. And again, as I click my fingers, your brilliant, available subconscious mind is opening to you. It is the key is being opened. Your brilliant, available subconscious mind is revealing the most important, relevant, crucial secrets to you. You're drifting right back there. Just be there. And again, as I click my fingers, your brilliant, available subconscious mind is opening to you. And I want you to hear what you heard, what you saw, what you experienced, and what you felt then. On the count of 1, 2, 3, your ears are wide open. You can hear things that you heard as a little kid, a younger version of yourself, as an impressionable youngster that had a deep, deep impact on you to this very day. Look at that scene. What are you hearing? What are people saying? What are they telling you or showing you or presenting to you, about money? And now let's do this one more time. Again, super fast, because it really doesn't take very long. On the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you're now going back to the most vivid, the most vital, the most crucial, relevant, significant scene of all that has deeply impacted and shaped and formed your belief system, your understanding, your relationship with money. You're becoming younger and smaller, lighter, shorter, drifting right back right now. Just be there as I click my fingers. The scene is in your mind. Are you inside or are you outside? Is it daytime? Is it nighttime? And here is the only question that matters. What are you doing? What are you seeing? What are you feeling and experiencing? Hear exactly what you heard then, see what you saw then, and most importantly, feel what you felt then. Feel that feeling of being uncertain, worried, scared, or maybe embarrassed, or maybe excited, or whatever the feeling is. What was the belief that occurred to you? What was the conclusion that your subconscious mind made for you out of this scene about you and about money? Was it a belief that you shouldn't ask for money, that you didn't deserve money, that it wasn't for you, that it was for other people? Was it that you weren't worth the money, or that you don't know how to get the money, or that you're embarrassed because you don't have enough money? And some people are embarrassed because they do have too much. I had a client once who had a trust fund, and she was in terror about money all her life because her mother held the trust fund over her. So stay in that scene, see what you saw, feel what you felt, hear what you heard. And I want you to take a minute, you just need a minute, to imagine that you're looking at all those scenes together now. You're looking at scene 1 and scene 2 and scene 3. And like a sleuth, like a detective, a very good detective, you're gathering information, and you're looking and you're analyzing it, and you're saying, oh, look at that, I never realized, oh, that was the time, that was the moment, that was the thing, that I wore embarrassing clothes, or I couldn't buy my lunches, or my brother got more than me, so I must not be worthy or important, or I better not ask because my parents will be angry at me. Whatever it is, I want you to look at those scenes. Maybe it's a scene from school and a teacher said something to you. Or maybe it was later on in your life and the kids said something to you. And this is truly important. It's very crucial, because I really want you to understand how those scenes affected you, how they influenced you, what they did to you, what conclusions you draw, the impressions that you were left with. I want you to look over and around and right through those 3 scenes, because understanding is the power that you have. It's incredible power. And I want you to understand now how those scenes affected you. What did they do to you? What decisions did they push you to make or avoid making? What did those scenes cost you throughout your entire life? And now I want you to remember something really, really important. You formed your beliefs, your worth, and all about money. You shaped and influenced your entire relationship with money when you were on the planet for just a few short years. And you didn't know then what you know now. And here's how to break the old pattern. And I know you want to break through those old patterns that don't serve you, that undermine you, that limit you, that cause you anxiety, when it could be freedom. You could be free and light and revived and vital and way more abundant. And here's how to be free of this and create a completely new, familiar belief about you and what your worth is and your confidence. And I want you to say out loud or to yourself, that is not me. That was me, but that is not me now, because I'm not my parents, or because I don't live in that world anymore, or whatever your because is. That was me, but that is no longer me because. And I want you to answer your own question. And you might have several answers. It might be, that's not me today because I graduated from a fantastic college, or I'm an accomplished adult, or I'm really, really smart, or I don't live the same life. I don't live where my parents live, or whatever your because is. Because realize this, that was you then. That was your life then when you were 3 or 5 or 7 or 8 or 10 or even 20. That was you then, but it is no longer you now, and it can never be you now. It's like water down the shower drain. It can never be you again. But your mind, your subconscious mind, has been dragging those scenes around in the background like a bad virus, like a bad program, as if it is still you. It's true, isn't it? But you've been dragging those old scenes and treating them as truth and as reality. And anytime you have tried to veer from that old reality, your subconscious mind keeps bringing you back, wanting you to stay stuck by old feelings, old beliefs. But it isn't true, is it? So whatever you saw in those scenes, you're going to shatter and smash and erase and eradicate and eliminate all those beliefs. But you have to do it loudly so that your inner mind understands and accepts and embraces this new belief. And then you have to reinforce it for 21 days. So I want you to say after me right now, that's not me because, and I want you to finish the sentence. Do it now. And I want you to justify right now to your mind, that's not you because, finish the sentence. And I want you to say it again, that will never be me ever, ever again for the rest of my life because, and say it with greater force, with greater strength, with greater, even if you have to say it louder, say it louder. I want you to hear yourself. And I want you to teach your subconscious mind who is boss. I want you to tell your subconscious mind to take your new beliefs in, to embrace those new beliefs, to embrace the truth that the past is gone and it can never be here anymore, and that you are truly, truly ready and able to release all of those old stories, old beliefs, old feelings, because they're no longer facts for you. And the reason they're no longer facts are because, and finish that sentence, they can never, ever rule you ever again. They can never be you again because, and you have the proof now forever because go back to your first and second scene. And I want you to remember that cannot be you ever again because you're not 7, you're not 5, you're not 8, and you're an adult now. And it is not you because, and I want you to hear it all the way into the deepest recesses of your subconscious mind. And if you go to the third scene, I want you to imagine that their third scene, you imagine your new life, bring your younger self to your new life and show your younger self exactly why that can never be you again, because your new life is very, very different. The life as an adult is very, very different. And I want you to imagine an even newer life, living at exactly the level of wealth and abundance that you truly desire. Picture this in your mind. Picture where you're going home to. Picture the balance in your bank account. Picture what you're doing on a day in and day out basis. Picture the vacations that you take. Picture the car that you're driving. And imagine this in your mind's eye, exactly the level of wealth and abundance that you are worthy of and desire. And show your subconscious mind exactly why those old beliefs no longer and never will apply to you ever again. Show it what your new truth is, as if it is an expectation, a reality. Because your subconscious mind does not know tense or time, it only knows the present. And you want to tell your mind that that third scene is not you, and it can never be you again, because, and once again finish the sentence, it's not you because that's not me, because I'm not 3 or 5, because I don't live in that house anymore, because I don't live my parents' life, because I don't live that life anymore, and because it is now up to me. I can make as much money as I choose to. I set my own beliefs, I set my own path and my own goals and my own life now. And I want you to say those words to yourself. I set my own path. I determine my worth. I own my worth. I set my own money goals now, and I embrace them and I love them and I create the life that I choose now. And say this not like a thought, but a real belief at this core of yourself. Teach your subconscious mind what you want it to embed and embrace and repeat to you at every turn. Whenever a different, an unserving thought comes to your mind, teach your subconscious mind to automatically, on autopilot, replace it with your new beliefs, about money and confidence. Teach your subconscious mind what its new familiar is. And now I want you to go just a bit deeper. Breathe deeply and appreciate that you are at a very, very powerful state of awareness, more powerful than you've ever been. And as you go deeper, I want you to understand that understanding is power. Understanding is the most phenomenal power. And as you look over and around and right through that little kid, that sweet little kid that you were, who was forced to pick up and adopt other people's beliefs, you now know that they are not you. They are no longer you. And you look over and around at that small child and you know that it's not you. And you truly understand for the very first time in your life that you have a great new truth, because when you were that child, you had no choice but to believe what you were told. You didn't know any different. You didn't know any better. But now you've learned and lived a lot more. And you are creating new rules for your mind, new familiar thoughts and beliefs for your subconscious mind. Because here is another much better rule. You are a smart, brilliant, intelligent, accomplished, gifted adult. And as a gifted adult, you will never again for the rest of your life find it necessary or relevant or even remotely appropriate or interesting to think the thoughts that you thought when you were a kid, or to believe what you believed when you were younger. Because here is the truth. You make your beliefs, and then your beliefs make you. And today you're making new beliefs. Everything you want is available to you. Not as just a nice thought, but as a true core, right down to the core of you, to your heart and soul and belly belief of it all. Belief at that level. You make these beliefs core to you, familiar, part of your very nature. Everything you want is available to you. You are worthy of it all. You have always been worthy of it all, and you are a magnet for it all. You love being worthy of it. You love receiving new cash flow. You love living at a heightened state of self-confidence. And this new level of confidence and cash flow go hand in hand now. And you feel that wonderful, powerful connection because you feel this abundance. You enjoy attracting new levels of wealth into your life. You live in a state of natural flow and abundance. And you know yourself to be deeply significant, that you deeply matter, and that you were put on this planet with a gift, with more than one gift, and you have so many things of immense value to offer the world. And because you have these immense gifts to offer the world, you now have the balance of giving as well as receiving. You give of yourself, you give of your natural gifts, and every day you recognize that you're giving of your gifts because this was your natural fate. This was your natural path. You know that you have these unique gifts, unique ideas and talents, And your brilliant mind now knows to accept and to embrace the ideas of how to monetize all of your talents and gifts, and readily accepts that the monetization is a natural partner to your new beliefs. Your subconscious mind becomes your friend, your ally, your champion, and your wealth partner. And the world recognizes your value and rewards you, and you live in a heightened state of abundance and belief, a state of appreciating the new levels of wealth and richness that enter your life on a day in and day out basis. And every day, when you look in the mirror, you confidently and easily say, I'm abundant, I am wealthy, I am rich, money comes toward me, I attract money, I attract wealth, and I am able and ready to receive all of it because it is all available to me. It is all there for me. There is enough in the world for everybody. You have wealth. It does not take away from other people you having wealth. In fact, the more wealth you make, the more you inspire other people around you to attract money to them and abundance the way they want to attract it. So you become an example. And as you become an example, more and more comes toward you. Now, in just a minute, I want you to envision yourself walking and talking from this new inner confidence and belief around money. See how differently you respond. See in your mind's eye how differently you perceive opportunities. See how differently you position yourself. See how differently you receive, and see yourself with all the good that you do from having immense wealth, the deep wealth. Go forward and see yourself with mega wealth and vast cash flow reserves and money. And I want you to see how much good you do and who else you benefit and what kind of a role model you are to yourself, to your family members, to children, and who you help and who you serve and who else you teach about confidence and the resulting abundance, who you assist. You live in a heightened state of abundance and confidence, and you live in a state of flow where you trust that money will flow to you, and it flows out of you and it flows back like a constant cycle. And you feel confident and trusting of yourself and belief in yourself around this flow being constant and consistent, because you know that you have so much to offer in this world and money is flowing toward you. It is a wonderful, new, delicious, great relationship that you have with money. And it feels for you like it has almost always been there. You treat it with respect, you treat it with confidence. And one more time, I want you to see and feel in your body the value that you bring. And finally, I want you to remember this for the rest of your life, that with every word you say, you form a blueprint that you must move towards. So every time you say, every time you say and think, I am living in a state of abundance, I am wealthy, I am rich, I am attracting money, I am financially blessed, and it is my birthright. Every time you say that, you are now creating and reinforcing this brand new blueprint that your mind knows it must move towards. It has no option other than to move you toward what you want. Because if you created the other blueprint, you can now create this new blueprint. And once you are moving toward it, it moves towards you. And you're expanding your potential to money. When the potential expands, it never can go back again. You have no idea what your potential is, because just as you get to it, your brilliant mind is going to allow you to expand it. And your money is also an expander, because it also gives you greater opportunities and it allows you to tap into greater potential of yourself. So it's all in the flow. That little kid is not you and can never be you ever again. And here's who you really are: gifted, talented, lovable, unstoppable, with an unquenchable thirst to be of help to others, to make a difference with others, and to make a huge difference in your own life by attracting immense value and immense wealth to yourself and immense self-confidence to yourself. so that the world recognizes and rewards you for all of that. And that is the truth about you. And I only speak the truth. And so remember it. Remember the blueprint. Remember that you now naturally and easily believe things work out for you. Money flows to you. And you easily trust this. It becomes natural to you. And you revel in the wonder of valuing your worth and expect others to appreciate it. And it all boils down to now you feeling naturally and easily that it is all available to you. And now, on the count of 5, you're going to easily and gently return to the room. 1, easily, slowly, gently, peacefully come back into the room. 2 and 3, calmly come back into the room. 4 and 5, when you're ready, just open your eyes and take a big, deep breath in. Hello, everybody. See if I can see you all. There you are. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everybody. Can you guys see me? Can you see me?